This is what I did for 25 years, from 25 to 51 years old. Spent my most valuable asset, time, to get money, terrified every second of every. That's really what's driven me the whole time, was terror. Like, when you don't know, you're gonna be scared. So I'm going out to get money. I won't spend any of it because I'm terrified if I can't, I don't know how to get more. I'm worried I can't keep getting more. So then I'd get the money and then I'd rush off and spend my most valuable asset, time, again, to bring it to the bank. They're telling me to save it and they don't. And so when I quit listening to everybody that's got an opinion about money online, or my neighbors or my uncles, and I started saying, what are they doing? When I quit studying the influencers and started studying the banks, Goldman, JP Morgan, KKR, there's just an endless list of these guys.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I was making $300 a month. I quit on my business partner, and the thing that saved me was studying the stories of super successful entrepreneurs. So I hope that this story today helps give you the motivation you need, because I still need it too myself.
So today, let's learn from one of the best, Grant Cardone, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
You start studying those guys. Elon, study Elon. Elon doesn't keep any cash. He thinks the whole thing's a joke, which he's probably right. So what does he do? He reinvests everything. He's not paying debt off. He's accumulating debt. But Apple has debt, Google has debt, Facebook has debt, and they have cash reserves that are the biggest cash reserves on planet Earth. They could pay cash for everything, but they don't.
Why do they get debt when they have all the cash? Why do they do that?
Because if I take, man, you got a little whiteboard right there, man. God dang. Okay, so if I take, Apple just did this. Okay, I want to make a $90 billion purchase. I want to make and they're like, yeah, we got the cash for that. In fact, we have cash plus another 50%.
Yeah,
we got plenty of cash to do this. Okay, and then one of their people says, okay, bro, you do that? That is not a tax deductible event. What we should do is we should go keep this and go borrow 90 billion.
Really?
At like 0.005%. Like, they're gonna pay 0.5% for this debt. Maybe they pay 1%, who cares?
Right.
They're like, I don't care, it's a tax deduction anyway.
Interesting.
So now they have the best of both worlds. They have their cash and they have debt. Now, back when I was growing up, this debt would cost 10, 12, 15, 18%.
But it's so cheap now.
This debt, because we print money. Money is not scarce, like our parents told us. Like, when I was growing up, I bet you I heard at least from my mother, from the age of 10 to 15, if I didn't hear this 500 or 1,000 times, I never heard it once. We don't own the electric company. Turn those lights out, boy. I still have that going on today. My dad, my mom told me my dad would, because he worked so hard, dude. He was so like, oh, I finally got it. I finally made it. Now I got to protect it. He got stuck in the second piece, keeping it. You know, it's an emotional keep. And so it's not a rational thing, because you're hoarding now, you know. Still today, man, it's tough for me to buy blue jeans if they're not on sale. I'm like, this is stupid, man. Like, well, I'm just going to wait.
Right.
You know? So you know what I'm saying? But it's really stupid that I even worry about it.
Right.
And I'm not saying on the come up, I think you should worry about it.
Right.
But there needs to be where you can turn that switch off.
Rule number 2, overcome financial fears.
Knowing I couldn't help my mom when I was 10, 12, 15, 20 years old was a really a moment, a long period of suffering for me. It caused me grief, not the grief of the loss of my father, grief that I couldn't
provide,
solve my mother's problem. It wasn't really about providing for her. It was about, I wanted to solve this one problem she had, which was scared about money. She's clipping coupons like so many families do around the world, you know. Maybe it's not coupons, but the Groupon or the deal or the plumber or the car dealer's going to take advantage of you. The roofer's going to come out and rip you off, so you got to get 3 and 4 bids. And people are plagued by this all the time, you know. And
do you think that fear was very practical in the early stages of your development as to who you are today?
No, it was ridiculous, unnecessary, and very costly.
But would you be who you were today if it were not for that?
No, I would be somebody much greater.
Really?
Oh, totally.
You don't think?
Completely, it was pain. It was a mistake. Financially, it was a mistake.
Right.
And it was a mistake spiritually.
Okay.
There is no reason to grab something that has been made, that has been manufactured, and then worry about it. Worry about losing it. Wasn't even mine to begin with, and it's not going to be mine in the end.
But that, in essence, is almost like the symbol. The real, it's the underlying fear is what drove you. That was just the symbol of fear. That was the, I guess, in respect
No. It was a mistake, man.
A mistake, wow.
Totally.
Because I actually heard you talk about failure and how you hate failure, which is kind of...
Well, anybody that enjoys failing and losing is delusional. This is what success looks like. It should be just like this. It should be just like that. Okay? It shouldn't be up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. It shouldn't be good month, bad month, good month, bad month, good month. It shouldn't be that. You know why? If I get rid of the downs, what do I end up with? All ups, man. Everything that my dad did, and the Dave Ramsey program, and all the conservative, save your money, plan for retirement, what do you call it here, the super fund?
Yeah, superannuation.
Plan for it, make sure the house is paid for. I had all that handled. And then that economic collapse happened. Bam, 3 companies. I thought I was good because I had multiple flows. I had real estate paying me. Got cracked. We didn't go down. We didn't lose anything, but I went back into that fear. That fear of like, oh my God, all this is going to be taken away. And so once I got over the fear, I'm like, okay, what's really happening here? And what I came up with was that I had not accumulated enough, unfortunately. And a lot of your audience will hate this idea because it's going back to that, how much is enough and all that.
But if we can flip that just in this moment for a second, it's not so much about how much it's enough, it's about how much we have that enables us to do. I'm assuming you're not doing what you're doing just for the sake of having.
Like
there's something deeper that's kind of driving behind that.
Why, I don't, like if I just wanted to sit in a condo in Miami and on the beach and just get sun every day, and I don't need a jet to do that. Like I can just stay there, right? And like we're doing a lot of traveling right now.
Yeah.
And I want to be with my kids. So if you want to be with your kids and have a nanny and drag them around and, do the thing, then you got to have some equipment to go with it. And all that takes money. Well, that's what happened in 2010. I had just been thinking too small the whole time. It goes back to that saving money. I shouldn't have been saving money, dude. I should have been using my money to build my brand out. So that when that collapse happened, when a major contraction happens, there's one winner, one group of winners. Who's the best known? And who can deliver at the marketplace at the lowest price? Yeah, that's who wins every time. Who's best known and who can deliver in the greatest quantities at the lowest price? The only people that can do that are the people that are in the best. Come on in, Elena. The people in the best financial shape. Yeah. If you're in great financial shape, I couldn't take advantage of 2010.
Yeah, right.
The super wealthy.
Because you're on the defensive.
Dude, I was on defensive and I didn't know what I was doing. Blackstone's sitting there. The collapse happens. They're like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, what can we do now? They're having their drinks. Different than America. America's drinking to get drunk to forget this happened. Blackstone's in there having drinks, figuring out, okay, how do we take advantage of this? Okay, they bought 10,000 homes in Miami, okay, along the beach. 10,000 condos, put them together, pay cash for them. Like, you want to be in a position for your family. If you want to have a legacy, if you're thinking about more than just, I'm talking to the audience, if you're thinking about more than just paying the bills. Yeah. And my dad couldn't do that when my dad died. And he would have wanted to. If he was sitting here right now, he'd be like, hey man, you're doing the right thing. Because I left you guys in a position I shouldn't have. Even though he did great, he did. Yeah. He had accumulated the American dream. But when he died, because he wasn't working anymore, because the income stopped, life insurance kicked in. We had to pay the house was paid off. She had some money. He had some money in a cash account. So my mom got all that. But when she looked at it, she's like, "This could go away." Yeah. And she went into fear and terror. And that's really my message to people today. That is still a bit polarizing. I haven't figured out how to deliver it yet. Yeah. Is that look, you don't have enough. And the people that get punished are not just people in poverty. It's all the people in the middle. Yeah. And I don't want to be that guy anymore.
Rule number 3 is manage your time better.
If you count all the live stuff that we do on streams, I mean, it's every day. But I started my career, I started my career, I was probably doing 8 a day. 8? A day. Wow. Every day.
Training.
For 250 days of the year.
Oh my goodness.
That were anywhere from 15 minutes if I could get a company to listen to me. These were free presentations. I was trying to, we were talking about the importance of communication. I was trying to get known. in America.
Yeah.
And the way I did that was I'd go knock on doors and say, hey, I have an idea for your business. I'd like to tell you about it. I'd like to share it with your employees. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And just listen to me for 20 minutes. So those were like, I did tens of thousands of those in order to get known.
And they were converting into business?
Well, I didn't know what I was doing. They were. The goal was to convert.
Yeah.
But it took me 3 years to ever make any money. This is before I'd written a book. I didn't have a name. Nobody knew Grant Cardone. And, I hadn't quite figured out me yet. But every once in a while, somebody would say, yeah, we like your ideas and we want to do this. And then they would go to this event that I would plan 2 weeks later. So I had 2 weeks planned for an event.
Oh, wow.
Like you know how hard events are to do.
Incredibly.
Yeah. So we figured out how to put, 200 or 300 people, the right people in a room for an event. We took 14 days to market it. It was me doing all the marketing.
14 days.
14 days I would market. I would go, but I'm calling on businesses door to door.
Yeah.
And very much a marketing and sales job. Very, very, most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. I was 30 years old. So, I was doing 250 gigs a year, then a promotional company picked me up and we started doing 8 of those larger events a month. So I was doing 100 speaking gigs a month, a year.
A year? That's
a year.
A lot. Do you not feel like when you're up on stage, giving,
yeah.
that
No, I did 1 hour in Bucharest. I got on my plane and I was just like, wham,
Yeah.
And it was only 1 hour. That's when I was doing 8 hours.
Yeah.
Going to the next city doing 8 hours.
Yeah.
Not only was it extremely taxing on me, it wasn't good for me, and I don't know that it was good for the audience. It definitely wasn't good for me as a businessman because I was spending too much time speaking and not enough time in my business. Today we flipped the model where I'm spending more time in my business and less time on stages.
Rule number 4, become an investor.
There's a lot of people in multi-level marketing that say that they have passive income. I'm like, that's not passive income. That's residual income, not passive income.
What's the difference between passive and residual income?
Passive income is I make an investment and somebody sends me a check. Residual income, and it could be residual, it could be repeating, recurring, right?
Right.
But if I go collect the rent, paint the place, put in the tenant, that's not passive, that's active income. I had to rent it, I had to collect it. You're trading time for money.
You had to market it, you had to do all these
What
things.
you get from me is passive. You don't decide what color the paint on the building is.
No.
You haven't even been to the building.
No.
I can't believe it's the 15th again.
Right.
That's passive income, right? Dividend income is passive income. You invest in Apple Computer and they send you a check.
But if you have to work for it, it's not passive.
No. So the CEO of Coca-Cola made $50 million last year. A lot of money, right? Okay, that's earned income. Government's going to take half of it. Warren Buffett invested in Coca-Cola. He was paid $508 million.
Come on.
Last year. That's passive income.
As a dividend?
Yes.
And he doesn't have to pay tax on it?
You know how many people on the internet want to be the boss?
A lot.
Dude, the boss don't make any money. The investor does. Don't be the boss. Don't be the CEO. There's so much confusion in the marketplace. Be the investor.
Yeah.
Just invest. And what does Warren do? Warren is how I got in real estate. I started buying real estate because I studied the old man.
What do you
The old man, when I would read, the old man's only invested in stocks, right? I'm like, I'm not going to do stocks because I don't like them. But what I wanted to learn from Warren Buffett, what was he doing? What was the consistent patterns of what he invested in? All companies that had been around a long time. He did not buy the cheapest company. He never looked for what my uncle looked for. He didn't buy low and sell high.
What was he doing?
He bought fair value at a fair price. He bought the best quality at a fair price. He didn't look for the lowest price. He wasn't looking for the day a stock went down to $1. He's never done that. He invests in companies that all cash flow, leaders in their space. Coca-Cola, Candies, Apple Computer. He didn't buy Apple Computer for years until he understood that Apple Computer was a cash flow company because of iTunes.
Wow.
That it wasn't a computer company. It was a cash flow generating machine. When I read that, I'm like, dang, dude, everything he buys is really real estate. Yeah, see, so I'm like, okay, I can't I cannot buy a big enough position. I'm not rich enough to get a big position at Coca-Cola. I don't get on the inside. I'm a little guy, right? So I'm never going to get access to Wall Street. Goldman Sachs isn't going to call me and say, hey, we got this deal going, man. It's going to be the next Coca-Cola, right? I'm never going to get that call. So what can I buy? This like Warren. Oh, real estate, man. I can buy the 26 units in San Diego because I know the neighborhood. I grew up there. And I spent some time there. So I know that. So I can buy that. I can go to the bank. I can get a good loan on it. And it cash flows. And that's how I started buying real estate, because Warren, he bought for the long term. He bought great locations, great properties.
Fair price.
He's never managed anything.
He's not the CEO of the company.
He's not a manager. He's not a CEO. He never gets rid of the employees that are there. And I was like, man, what are you doing, dude? He's not the salesman, but he is a promoter. So when I started watching what his moves, he's on TV all the time, and he takes big positions, giant positions, not little ones. All that changed everything for me. I quit buying this and a little bit here and a little bit there. It's called diversification. I quit doing that when I watched Warren. Warren is not diversified. I think 4 investments gave him 70% of all his returns last year.
Wow.
Yeah. And if he wasn't so rich, he'd probably only own 3 or 4 stocks. But he's got there's so much money now. Right. Elon's another guy, never diversified. PayPal was his only investment. When he sold PayPal, he only has 3 investments today, and no homes, and no cash.
Really?
No cash.
Oh, he doesn't own real estate, or he doesn't own his home?
He doesn't own his homes. He's all in, man.
Yeah.
But that's not the advice our parents gave us, or our school teachers.
Right. Where's housing going to be in the next 8 to 10 years, do you think?
It's going to have people in them.
Right.
And it's going to be more expensive. And I think people are going to be more renters than they're going to be owners.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, ask the right questions.
Do I have a coach?
Yeah.
No, I do not have. I mean, I have my church. My church is my coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anytime I'm like, some people that get coaches, they don't even have the right questions to ask. Like, forget the right answer. Do you? You know, most people don't even have the right questions.
Sure.
So part of what I do with my church is to figure out what question I should even be asking. Because most of the time I'm like, hey, what's wrong with this? Well, that's not even what's wrong.
Rule number 6, meet the right people.
I was talking to some Wall Street guys and I'm like, dude, I hate these Wall Street people. And I said, I'm just not accepted there. I'm not like them. And the guy looked at me and says, bro, it's because you're talking to the wrong people. He didn't say bro, by the way, but he says, it's because he's like, Grant, you're not talking to the top of the food chain. The top of the food chain is exactly like you.
That's interesting.
They would never judge you. They would never criticize you. They would only admire you. They would want to pick up the bill with you. They would think they were with a brother. He says, it's everybody they hired below him that is threatened by you. They said, the reason you don't feel comfortable talking to these people is because you're talking to one level below who you should be talking to.
And that level seems like a level above, because it could be a level above where you're at, but it's a different game. It's a different playing field.
The guy looked at me and says, look, bro, you're a savage. You're a beast. You have to talk to savages and beasts.
Yeah.
You're not built to be a corporate guy. That's not you. The reason you're uncomfortable, Grant, he's like, the guy told me, and this guy's way up there. Right. He says, The reason I believe you've had problems is because you've simply been dealing with the wrong people. And thinking that you needed those people, you know, and the reality is you are those people you're studying.
Rule number 7 is create passive income.
I thought I was frugal. I thought I was a mooch. I thought I was cheap. I was told all these things because in reality, tight, you know, I could squeeze an eagle off the quarter, People, I'd go look at a $200. I still look at the prices of stuff. I think it's important to know what the price of something is. I would look at the price of something, and I was not cheap. I was misidentifying what the problem was. The problem for you, when you look at it, what you're hitting is, can I reproduce that 200 pounds? Right. And you're not sure yet. So you're not sure. When you get sure, you'll be like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take $5 million. And that is the key. The key is to get so confident in your ability to reproduce money. Now, this complicates the issue because if you're in the e-commerce space, you're in a space that literally was just created overnight. Like it didn't even exist, 10 years ago, and got hot here only in the last probably 28 months or so. So you have the data. You have data that says, wait a minute, this space didn't exist, which only means it might not exist in the future, right? It could go away as fast as it came. So you have it on guard. Those birds I was with yesterday, they think everybody wants to eat them. Like they don't trust anybody. They don't trust their owner. They trust no one. And that's a good thing to have. So that when you look at it, you're like, hey, is this business going to be here? Is this business going to work? Is new money going to come in? Do I have the systems in place? Do I trust my people? Do I trust myself? This all changed for me with this real estate stuff. Mm-hmm. So I have 13 little businesses and then the real estate. The real estate is the one that can't be stopped. There's nothing on planet Earth, short of North Korea going nuclear, nothing will stop the income that's produced by that. When you have that coming in, and I'm willing to work hard every day like you are, but I have this machine going over here, 6,000 apartments, 7,000 apartments, 8,000, 10,000, paying me every month, a couple $100. Then I'm like, ooh, let's go on the trip.
Yeah.
Okay, who cares what jet fuel costs? Because I got a machine going over here. And that should be the game for everybody. Do great at this, the earned income that the Queen taxes so heavily. And then go over there and find this passive income that will pay you regardless of how talented you are, how smart you are, how well the video does, or how well the product release does. Get that passive income to be more than the earned income.
Rule number 8, pay the price of success.
Hey, to all of you out there that are having a hard time right now, if you're getting beat up, maybe you're broke, you don't have any money, girlfriend or boyfriend left you, had a loss in your family, lost your job. I got a little message for you. Okay, here's the deal. Number one, it can get worse. Okay, it can get a lot worse than it is. I know, I've not always lived up here where the view's good. I'm telling you, keep feeling sorry for yourself. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse. Now, with the prevalence of experts on the internet, including Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and the plethora of people that literally can make quotes and memes, knock off Abe Lincoln's quotes and take credit for them. There's no shortage of people out there saying it's going to be easy for you to be successful. Look, it's not going to be easy. Okay, the advice you're getting out there is so wide open. There's so many people telling so many people garbage. Like it's going to be easy, you're going to be able to travel all over the world, all you have to do is become an instant celebrity or a star on any channel, or all you have to do is start posting pictures of you in cars or you on trips or you working out. Or look, it's endless, and it's driving me nuts that some of you out there that are getting your brains like handed to you. And you're sitting there, you're like, woe is me, what is wrong? Why can't I make it? All these people are making it. Number one, you don't even know if they're making it. You don't really know if they're making it. You don't know what their life's like, or if they're happy, or if they're really successful, if the money's real, if the cars are real, if the trips are real. You don't know any of that. So number one, don't feel sorry for yourself. Nothing's going to change because you feel sorry for yourself. I lost my first 5 jobs. I was broke at 25. The more educated I got, the more broke I seemed to be. My mom and my twin brother said, look, leave us alone. Get your freaking stuff together, and then maybe, earn your way back into our graces. I was the black sheep of my family. I didn't even like myself. And me blaming others, me feeling sorry for myself, didn't change things. And most importantly, and maybe a benefit to me, was there was nobody on the internet at that time saying, I became an internet star, and that's how I made my millions of dollars. That just wasn't available. Only thing available back then was you got to work. Okay, you got to work. You got to go out into the marketplace. You got to pick up a phone. You got to start where you are. You have to take that sucky, crummy job that you have and do whatever it takes to start putting money together. You don't need to go back to college. You don't need to go get another degree. Some of you got so many degrees, you could be a freaking thermometer. Like, you got to change the game, okay? You got to get tools and skills, simple tools and skills, so you can start monetizing whatever your skill is. So, number one, you got to knock off the excuse making. It can get a lot worse, I promise you. It can get terrible. I thought it was bad at 23. It got worse, okay? It got worse. So, I want to help you, but you got to drop the quick, get rich quick thing. It's going to be easy. I'm going to become a star. I'm just going to start knocking off other people's quotes. I'm going to put up pictures of cars and trips and think that makes me successful. It's not, okay? You can't steal somebody's profile and think that's going to make you successful. Got to work. You have to monetize, okay? If your daddy didn't leave you with a business, you have to go out and do something today that adds value to the marketplace and get you money, okay? Money. Nobody's telling you, go get money. Sell a product, okay? Now, you could sell a product out of your closet, but you're not gonna be able to duplicate that again tomorrow. So I strongly suggest that you get products that you can sell a second time, a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time. You got people out there just dropping F-bombs, telling you don't do anything you don't wanna do. Don't do the stuff you're no good at. Well, you're not good at anything right now, so you got to do something right now. Everybody has to start somewhere. It starts with you taking responsibility for you and saying, hey, I got to go out and get one little skill at a time. I got to man up, woman up, I got to bone up, and I got to go into the marketplace and add value. Sell a product, sell a service, do something for the money, work for somebody else, become the most valuable person in your space. That's what it takes, folks. There's no shortcuts, okay? Today, I'm living up here. I live on the 33rd floor of a beautiful condo, 200 panes of glass in this place. You got glass all over the place, okay? I don't even know what we spend to clean the windows. It's ridiculous. When I grew up, I had one little window that looked at a brick wall, okay? And that's when I was a kid. As I grew up and got more of an education, my window got smaller and smaller and smaller, and I was acting like I was like I had my shit together. Okay, so look, you got to get a good job. How do you get a good job? You get the job you're at and you get good at it. I don't care what job it is. I lost 5 jobs. All 5 of them, they probably shouldn't have hired me, and they did. They gave me a shot, and I lost them. I deserved to lose all 5 of them. They shouldn't have kept me there as long as I was. If you got drug problems, alcohol problems, you're gonna have to get rid of them, okay? You're gonna have to confront the beast. If you got a bunch of freaking loser friends around, you gotta get rid of them. You want the great life? If you want the real deal life, it's not about posting it online. It's about living it. It's about doing it. It's about paying the price. All the successful ones paid the price.
Rule number 9 is find your drive.
When I was a kid, when I was growing up, the guy that knew how to take care of his environment was my dad. I was 8 years old, and man, this dude controlled everything in this environment. And he left early for work, he came home late. Took care of his family. He never gave anybody a lecture about what to do. he was a good example. And he had the money and he made the money. We were middle class family, so we were like little red brick house, white brick house, about 1,400 square feet, 7 people lived in it. And my dad, I could tell my dad was trying to get somewhere. He was trying to move us up. He was trying, and he wasn't trying to brag. He was trying to take care of. And so I was watching that, right? And I watched where this guy, he's the one that made the decision where we went, how long we stayed. And I started associating that. The money maker makes the rules. This is what Elena was talking about. You know, there's around the money, I make the rules around the money. Around other things, Elena makes the rules. So you got to know what you're good at, what your job is, and what your role is. My dad and my mom knew their roles. Problem with that is when my dad died suddenly at 52 years old, my mom was left to do something she was not skilled up to do. And I was 10 and I didn't know how to help my mom. And my dad left a little bit of insurance money from the life insurance or the death insurance. Better, it's really called death insurance. Just can't sell it if they call it that. And my mom didn't know how long that money would last. So immediately after my dad died, when my mom should have been in grief, she went immediately into massive fear. And I could see it, I could sense it as a 10-year-old. My mom was in fear every day. Clipping coupons, saving money, turn the lights off, eat all your food. It was constant messages. Go across town to get gas, like everything. You can't buy strawberries today. They'll be 20 cents cheaper tomorrow. Everything was about fear. And so I couldn't do anything about it, or didn't think I could do anything about it. And I just kept telling myself, one day I'm gonna be in a position to change this. And I think that really drives me today to take care of people, not be in that situation again.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is don't be in conservation mode.
So when we wrote the 10X rule, all the books that I write for me. I'm not writing for you, okay? Somebody else gets something out of it, good. I write the book, sit down. It's a way for me to hey, what do I have to do to go to the next place? I'm not trying to sell a book to make money. There's no money in selling a book. You get 15 cents to sell a book. It's stupid, right? So Elena's finishing a book right now. Now she realizes how dumb it is. Because it's hard. So when we wrote the 10X rule, our advertising budget was almost nothing, almost zero. We'll spend $12+ million this year in advertising. When I wrote the 10X rule, the company was doing about 600 grand a year. This year we'll do 150 million bucks. So would you spend $12 million, thank you, would you spend $12 million to make $150 million a year? Okay, the first $3 or $4 million is not gonna get you the explosion, and it's probably not gonna happen in year one. Okay, you start spending that kind of money, you do need employees. You need people answering the telephone. You need people on websites. You need people building landing pages. You need graphics. Okay, anybody thinking different right now? Anybody right now thinking, hey dude, I gotta swell up here. Some of you spend more time in the gym than you do on your financial statement. And some of you spend too much time at the movie. What are you doing? I want to spend time on my financial statement. What part of that financial statement do I want to spend time on? Top line. Okay? How many treasury people here? Finance people, treasury, accountants, CFOs? Raise your hand if you are. Congratulations for being here. Okay, let me see a hand again. If you're CFO, treasury, finance, okay, good. How many of you do not have a finance person with you here today? Dude, you need to get those people here. They're holding your company back. They're brakes. They sit on brakes. We shouldn't spend that much money. Is Susan here today, Sherry? Okay, good. Susan's the finance, I'm glad she's not here. She'll hear this from my people, okay? So Susan is a financial person, and she works in my real estate division, and once a week we have a meeting. And yesterday she was in my office and she's like, if we do this and this and this, we're not gonna be able to do this and this. I said, dude, look, I didn't ask you for that. You're the finance person. You're not the entrepreneur here. You let me figure out how to pick it and how to make it work. You just report the numbers, tell me if there's any outness, keep everything clean, keep it ethical. You ain't the business person here. Finance is not business. Right? So who gave you your business advice? Where are you getting it from? I don't get it from somebody that's conservative. You understand? I'm not going to give it from somebody that's in conservation mode. Conservation is a tone level. It is a tone. It was like, I want to protect things. You have kids. You don't have kids, and then you have kids. Does it change you? You immediately go into conservation. Okay? A woman, she's a freak. She's a total freak. Everybody knows she's a freak. She has a kid, she pulls it back in. She's like, oh, can't be a freak anymore, man. Elaine, I'm talking about my wife. Total freak. Has a kid, turns into a Republican. Starts dressing nice. And now she starts conserving. She's trying to protect. You understand? Somebody doesn't have any money. You give them a couple $1 million, they're going to go into conservation mode or they're going to go broke. You have to go into conservation mode first. But if you stay in conservation mode, if you're taking notes, you want to write this down. If you stay in conservation mode, you will lose it all. I remember when I was a kid, a man told me, he's like, Grant, patience is a virtue. And I looked at him and said, are you trying to get a head start on me? Because that's what it sounds like. That reminds me of how many people say money won't make you happy. Rich people aren't happy. Look, folks, okay, why is this whole rich topic so sensitive to so many people? Why is it so many people, the moment you say rich, wealthy, get wealthy, the first thing that happens, everybody's like, rich people. You get all this negativity around being rich. Rich people aren't happy. Rich people are dysfunctional. Rich people are greedy. Rich people are selfish. You've heard all that. Money won't make you happy. Why all the disdain? Why the hate? Why the criticism for the wealthy? I'm not talking about people that inherited their money. I'm talking about people that worked from nothing and created an empire. And created true wealth that you can't possibly get rid of in a lifetime. People that will actually create so much wealth that they'll leave it for generations to come. The DuPonts, the Fords, the Carnegies. Bad people? Or did they do something really big? Look, when I talk about getting rich, I'm talking about you tapping into your full potential, not just financially, but in all areas of your life. My family, I'm rich. My company, I'm rich. My finances, I'm rich. My other businesses are rich, not just because they have money, but because they're rich in ideas, rich in great people, rich in energy, resources, and creativity. Man, get rich, man. And if you don't want to get rich, please don't blame other people that want to. That's the rant for the day. Man, did you hear that the person that won the lottery, I got 2 points to make here. The person that won the lottery is 84 years old. Her name is Gloria McKenzie here in Florida. She'll pay no state taxes on that winning. I keep telling you guys, move to a tax-free state so that your income's not taxed. And hey, if you win the freaking lottery, $380 million freaking dollars, you wouldn't be taxed at 10 or 13%. What are you thinking, man? The second point here is this. This woman would not have won this lottery ticket had it not been for the guy in front of her being so gracious to look at 84 and say, hey, lady, you want to go in front of me? I guess he was worried that she'd die before she could buy the ticket. Okay? Folks, in my book called If You're Not First, You're Last, I basically explain, look, man, if you're first in line, you don't give it up to an 84-year-old. I know that might sound, without compassion and uncaring and not sensitive. Hey, when you're buying a lottery ticket, get in, get out as quick as possible. If you're not first, you're last. In this case, I hope 84 gives this guy a little squeeze of the cheese. Please. Let's find out how gracious 84 is with her 380 to the guy that got out of line to get her in the line to buy the ticket that won the money where she don't pay any state taxes in Florida. Money follows attention, and attention follows money. You know, you guys have probably heard me say before, money follows attention, money follows attention. You need to hear the second side of this. Attention follows money too. Anybody thinks attention doesn't follow money? You are wrong. Attention follows money. Attention follows success. On this planet, the way you measure things is how much money do they make? Okay, Elon Musk became one of the richest people in the world last week. That's for real. They've been counting him out, man. His car company's worth more than Ford Motor Company today. Like he sells, you know, a tenth of what they sell. Like money follows attention and attention follows money. Be successful with your money. These big real estate deals we're doing, man, I'm telling you, man, it's got a lot of people's attention. Okay, people's attention goes to what people are doing. So the way for you to spread that message is to be an example. People need help. Why am I doing this? I am the only guy in the real estate space doing an event like this. Like, I'm not trying to sell, you don't have to buy a course from me. You don't have to do anything with me. I'd love for you to do more stuff with me. I'd like to get to know you better and all that. I'm doing this because I'd love for you. There's plenty of real estate on this planet. I can't buy it all. It's impossible. You can go buy your deals. He can buy his deals. Robert can buy his deals. I can buy all my deals, and there's still lots of deals. Like, there's no shortage of deals. I also look for people that I could like, hey man, how could I do deals together with people and scale faster? Because I'd rather this much of 80 billion than that much of 2 billion. I'd rather a little tiny exquisite. You know, and that's how all these guys do it. I mean, you want to get to the top of the food chain and make a legacy and really leave something big, you start thinking big. You start thinking 10 times, whatever you're thinking 10 times. I'm making $2.4 million a year. If I could figure out how to get another $200, that's called value add, VA, value add. If I could figure out how to raise the rent to $200, 531 units. See, that's why the number of units is so important. 531. $106,000 times what? Is what? 1 point. See, that creates another $1,274,000 of income a year. I'm already making $2.4 million a year. Bam! That traffic jam. Okay? I got more cash flow. I don't have to go work. I don't have to beat stuff up. I don't have to go Uber. You guys are, I'm gonna go Uber. To what? What you go Uber to? You end up with $7. Same energy, folks, same energy. Spend the energy going someplace, getting a vehicle that can actually get you to freedom. I don't want money. This money, I've had this money here the whole time, okay? It ain't gonna do anything. How many got money in the bank right now? It's useless. Money is useless until it is put to use. People earn money and then they spend it. And you're just doing this thing. Comes in, it goes out. You have to have multiple exits on the way out. How do I get out of this deal? I know people that have bought real estate that they're like, it cash flows, but they're like, I can never get rid of this piece of property. It's always gonna be a problem for me. Hang me around my neck. But it pays me a little bit of money. Okay? Now, if it's only one unit, folks, and it makes you $500 a month, it's still only $500 a month. Everybody agree? That's why you don't want to go small. You got to figure out how to do it big. If you do it big, if you do it right, if you have the right location, the barriers to entry, if you have the cash flow that you need, if you get good debt on it, I promise you, you will not lose money in this space. Warren Buffett said, don't lose money. Number 2, what? Number 3. Exactly. So when I read that, I'm like, don't lose money, don't lose money, don't lose money. What do I invest in? Oh, invest in something that doesn't lose money. Don't speculate. Don't buy stocks. Like, I don't want to trade a piece of paper for a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper. When you go buy $20 worth of Google stock, what do you get? You get a piece of paper back. It's all made up. Kids steal it anyway. Okay, I want something I can see. Would you agree? Okay? I would rather have that money. I'd rather take this money and say, okay, here's $100. Here's $100. I'm going to take the $100 and I'm going to buy a flip chart. This flip chart is more valuable than that $100. If I use it, everybody agree? Yep. Okay, so I want you to write this down. Quit saving money. The banks have brainwashed you. Save your money, save your money, save your money, save your money. The Wall Street also did this. Stay liquid, stay liquid, stay liquid. You want liquidity. No, you do not want liquidity. You want to be illiquid and you do not want to save money. Hey, I always tell you guys, when you're picking real estate out, make sure that you never compromise location. Okay, look at this location right here. Some of you have been jabbing on me because, Grant Cardone doesn't take his own advice. He went and bought a house in Malibu. He says not to buy a house. Number one, this is not a house. This is a piece of art located in one of the most popular places in the country, and certainly in the state of California. This is beautiful Carbon Beach. It is 150 feet of frontage on one of the most desirable beaches in Malibu. And I'm saying this as humbly as I can. Like, I'm like, guys, look, if you ever get a chance in your life, I'm not just bragging here. I'm just trying to show you, don't compromise location ever. The moment you compromise location, you can fix a lot of things. I can fix the paint. I can fix the interior. This interior of this house is very, very dated. Some people will like the cedar shake, the cottage look. Some people will like that color, not like the color. The doors and windows are dated. They probably need to be changed. The pool at some point needs to be updated. It's 15 years old. Some people will be all right. Some people will be like, I don't like it. It's just a lap pool. But it's 75 feet of a lap pool on Carbon Beach with neighbors that are just on every major list. And it's just one super, super, super desirable little spot in the universe. So when you're picking real estate, doesn't matter how big it is. This house happens to be 10,000 square feet, interiors, 3-car garage, two stories, sits up on caissons that go 60 feet deep into the sand and into the granite. To provide it with a space. It's got a 75-foot lap pool on the Pacific Ocean. Like, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous. Can't build it again. If you tried to build this again, it would take probably 5 years if you could get it approved. Probably would not get 10,000 square feet approved again. Would not get the pool approved. And just a fantastic, fantastic location. So for all of you that are out there hearing me say, Grant Cardone doesn't take his own advice. You're right, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I would not. If I was on the come up, just trying to get my game on, just getting started, I wouldn't go buy a house that doesn't provide my best friend cash flow. If it doesn't have cash flow, what am I got to fund it. This house actually could provide me with cash flow. But if it didn't, the location's so ridiculous. If I do the right things with the interior and the colors and the cedar shake, the doors and windows, if I update this pool a little bit, do the right things with the stone, furnish it on the interior in a way that it should be, there's a real good chance I make money on this house. Now, you know what I paid because it's been posted all over the internet. What I paid for the house when Real Deal posted it in the Wall Street Journal. Some of you are like, oh my God, he overpaid for this house. How could this guy pay that much money for this house? What do you think I'm going to sell this house for in the future? 150 feet. There's 3 other homes on Carbon Beach that have 150 feet on the ocean. None of it, by the way, is elevated. None of it. Most of it is down on the sand. You got Larry Ellison down the street, Michael Milken. I mean, these are super, super, super wealthy families. Larry Ellison has one home. His son has building a brand new home that they say will sell for $150 million if he ever sells it. Michael Milken's home, they say, is worth $1.5 million. when you're picking your home. It could be an $80,000 home, an $800,000 home, an $8 million home. Stretch. If you're going to do it, stretch and get the best possible location you can. I made this mistake my first 3 homes. I made the mistake believing I'm going to buy for less in a great neighborhood. I knew to buy in a great neighborhood, but I was scared to pay the extra money to be in that little pocket of that neighborhood where the location was literally irreplaceable. So if you're buying a house this year, you're buying an apartment, or you're buying an office building, or you're buying retail or storage, maybe storage less, okay? Make sure you get that kind of location that's irreplaceable. Your mom and dad said,
Tone it down.
Tone it down, have some reasonable, how many of you heard that? Reasonable goals, something attainable. And that what happens is when the goal is attainable, it's no longer exciting. Because if you can go get it easily, you're going to take it for granted.
If you can go get it easily, you're going to take it for granted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wake up this morning, there's no milk in my refrigerator. I don't drink milk, but I like milk to make froth for my cappuccino. And I like the froth really thick, so it takes a lot of milk, right? And I'm pissed off, man. There's no freaking milk. It's not that there's no milk, dude. I want the milk now, and I want it now more than ever because it's not in there. So if it's attainable, if $1 million was attainable to everybody, it wouldn't be worth anything. And by the way, it is attainable to everybody. So I believe that the bigger the giant, the more unattainable the goal is, okay, the least likely, if it's real for you, the least likely you are to give up on that goal. I think a lot of the reasons why you see people going down is because the goals are so low. Why would I be excited? Who could possibly be excited about making enough money to pay their bills?
I am not going to invest with you if you don't know what you're talking about. Where is it? I don't know. What's the job growth? I don't know. What's the rent? I don't know. What's the next door? I don't know. What's the NOI? I don't know. Okay, nobody. I'm like, next. Who's serious? Number 3, not knowing your underwriting. You got to know your underwriting. It's better for you when we meet Wednesday night. It's better that you don't know your underwriting with me than when you do it with the bank. You do not want to mess up with the bank. They're not going to forgive you once. One time, they're going to be like, leave this guy alone. They never forgive you for it. You'll never get in their good graces if you mess up with them one time, because they're cowards. That's not their money, they're lending. Number 4, you got to buy through every cycle. You cannot wait for the bust out. You got to buy through the good times. You got to buy through the bad times. You got to buy all the time. So before COVID, I was buying. During COVID, I was buying. After COVID, I was buying. So when I'm on a phone call with somebody, I was on a phone call today, I said, guys, they said, what did you buy during COVID? $600 million worth of stuff. They're like, dang, man. Like, it shows tremendous confidence that I can go do a deal through uncertain times. Number 5, buying too small. Buying too small is a problem. It's a headache. It's a pain in the ass, okay? 6, being talked out of deals. Leave the people around you alone. Get somebody that's pro on this thing. Don't talk to your stockbroker or your financial planner. Do not talk to your dentist or your chiropractor about buying real estate. Let them crack your back and then get off the table and go back to buying some real estate. Number 7, not looking at enough deals. These are the mistakes you're going to make. You're not going to look at enough deals. You're going to look at a couple and quit. Keep looking at deals. They're going to stack. The information is going to stack. I remember one of my jobs was I was in a produce department in Lake Charles, Louisiana, in a grocery store. And I was telling Jared about produce the other day. I hated this job. The guys tell me, look, man, when the bananas get some bruises on them, you got to move them to the front. I didn't know I was learning something. Fast forward 50 years. When an event's getting close to being expiring, move that event to the front. You understand? As you're losing time because your product's gonna get bruised and expire, move it to the front. Like, I didn't know when I was 16 years old that I was learning when I was stacking the shelves and they taught me how to stack the Cheerios and the Brillo pads and the Tide. And they told me how to pull it to the front, keep it squared up. I didn't know I was learning to pack and control my environment when you look at a lot of deals, this deal is going to teach you about that deal, is going to teach you about that deal, is going to teach you about that deal. And then one day you're going to be like, this deal right here is sick because of these deals. And you're going to know for sure because you knew those, because these gave you the data you needed to buy that one. Okay, one deal can what? Number 8, I need to write a book. One deal can change your life.
How many times in my life I've woken up like not sure. I think it started happening for me years ago, like probably around 12 or 13. I didn't know what to do every day. What's today gonna bring? Maybe it's after watching so much TV and eating so much sugar. You know, I think our diets definitely have a lot to do with all that. But look, I want to give you something today about how to get out of the funk, the funky hunk dunk. By the time I was 25, this thing went on from 12 to 25. At 25 years old, I was in so much depression every day. I was using drugs, alcohol. I was self-medicating constantly, making bad decisions. I lived in a 275, I just remember how much it was. It was $275 a month, and every other month I couldn't make the payment. I was late. Today, I live in this joint right here. I live up on the 33rd floor of this place. And completely different life today than I had then. 25, I went to a treatment center for 28 days for drug addiction. I was using drugs every day, hated it. Let me tell you something worse than drugs is how you feel about yourself. I hated myself every time I did a drug. Every time I smoked weed, every time I did any drug, the moment I put the pill in my mouth, the weed to my mouth, something in my nose, I hated myself. I never felt good about using drugs. And so by the time I was 25, I had been using drugs for 10 years, but my problems started before that. My problems didn't start with the drugs. It started with my inability to manage this late grade chronic depression. This, for lack of better words, this idea that I wasn't good enough. This idea that I didn't love myself. You know, my mom quit on me. My mom told me, hey, don't come around here anymore. My twin brother pretty much was done with me. My sisters both knew that I was in trouble and were like, oh my God, we're gonna get a call on him today. The people I worked with, the principal at the high school I went to said I couldn't win dog catcher in my 11th and 12th grade. Told my mom that. My student, my PE teacher said I would amount to nothing. I wrecked my car on my driver's ed test. I failed my driver's license test. I was fired from my first 6 jobs, wouldn't leave the 6th one. Dude, I'm telling you, I was a loser. Loser, okay? I'm telling you, loser. And I didn't have to ask other people. Nobody had to tell me I was a loser. I knew I was a loser. So, look, if you've ever been there, I know there's people watching this right now. Maybe you don't even know who I am. You're like, who's this dude talking about himself, I've come from that, where I was bankrupt spiritually, financially, physically. I weighed 134 pounds. That's 40 pounds less than I weigh today. I was broken every way possible. I didn't have any money. I was in debt. But the worst of the worst was how I felt about myself. I got out of that treatment center, and the counselor told me on the way out of the treatment center, if you read my last book, Be Obsessed or Be Average, it was the first book that I really shared anything about my life. Of all 7 of my books, that one gives you a kind of a look inside my life more than anything. And maybe what I'll do is I'll have my guys give you a chapter of that book free. And it's not what I came here to give you. I do want to give you something, but maybe my guys could put a couple of different links in here for you. So
I got out of that treatment center and the counselor said to me, I think his name was Philip. I don't remember the guy now. I hated his guts then. I still don't think much of him. He said to me, guy was really confused. He was more confused than I was. He said, now that I look back, he said, hey, if you leave here and you don't give up, you know, because when you're there, you spill your guts, you tell them everything. And I told him I wanted to be rich and famous and help people and write books and, you know, be known all over the world. And he says, if you don't give all those ideas, I think he called it grandiosity. If you don't give up all these grandiose ideas of changing the world, being rich, being famous, if you don't change all those ideas, dude, you'll never, ever, ever make it. You'll never stay, what do you call it? You'll never stay dry and sober. The first thing I might want to do before I start planting new stuff, take some of the stuff out of my garden. I need to make some space. I need to remove the weeds. I need to mulch the ground. I need to take something out. I need to dig in, remove stuff, okay? Get the soil ready for new plants and new trees. And a lot of times, in fact, every time in my life, for me to get from this place right here, where I am, I'm parked right now, for me to get from here to there, I have to leave here. That is the number one rule of success. I have to give up something. And for me, I've given up drugs, I've given up friends, I gave up a girlfriend that I was like madly in love with, crushed me for years. I've done that, 2 of those. They weren't right for me. Just weren't the right people for me. I was in love, but whatever chemistry, it diluted my power. I've given up a house in Houston, Texas, where I had friends and family. I gave up a house in La Jolla that I absolutely love, still love today, still miss that house today. 20 years I've been out of that house, miss it almost every day. Had to give it up though to become this guy. Gave up a house, Elena and I gave up a house in Los Angeles. Magnificent house. You know, I would flip my house where I live today, I would flip it off to go live back in that house today. People don't understand the sacrifices people pay every day. Every day I still go to work today. I give up my free time to go to work because I got 107 employees that depend on me. For a paycheck, for inspiration. My company feels it when I'm not there. I know they feel it. Johnny, the camera guy, starts missing me. You know, the other guys start missing me. I got a great team too. My team holds everything together, but even when you're the king, you're the man, the boss, you're the queen of the empire, you're still working for other people. You still got to give up your freedom and your right to do whatever you want. My wealth ultimately is not the money I have, it's the knowledge I have and the belief I have in myself. The same thing for you. But I want to take you on this trip because look, number one, you got to visualize it. You got to be able to see it in your mind like possibility. Second thing is you got to see it, you know, in the physical universe. You can explain to me what a bougainvillea is. You can explain to me what a beach is. You can explain to me what the gym looks like on the 2nd floor in Cabo San Lucas at this beautiful hotel we're at. But until I physically put an image to the ocean, to the whales, to the sunshine, to the mountains, until I visually see it, it doesn't become real. Third thing you want to do, number one, see it in your mind. I was doing a call today with Percy Miller, Master P. And he's like, first thing you got to do is see it in your mind. He grew up in extreme poverty in the projects. And he says, Grant, first thing I had to do was I had to see it in my mind that I could get out. Second thing I had to do was see a picture of it in the physical universe. That's how valuable the internet is today, is that you get to see things that maybe are way outside your price range. You can see the Lambo, the Rolls, the big house, the trip. You can see the possibility of Elon going to Mars, you know, and all of a sudden all those things expand possibilities. So number one, you got to see it in your mind. 2, you got to see it in the physical universe. And this also includes other people, examples of other people that are doing great things. I'm not just talking about physical manifestation. I'm not talking about stuff. I'm not talking about watches and bracelets and rings and houses and cars. I'm talking about how can you actually manifest something in the real world that you have in your mind? How do you turn an idea
into reality. And these things that I'm sharing with you will make it a possibility. When you dig deep on them, though, it's like, okay, well, how do I get closer to people that are doing those things? Because the third thing is you got to get closer to the thing you want. If you want a Gulf Stream, or if you want to solve the water problem on planet Earth, you're going to have to get closer, physically closer, step on, not just see with your eyes in a magazine or on the internet. You need to put your feet in the sand, put your feet on the jet. Now, that might mean that you got to go fuel jets for a while. You got to go work at an aviation company, an airport, and actually fuel them, clean them, wash them. Maybe you got to be a flight attendant on them. Put your feet next to them. Maybe you have to become a pilot. You're going to have to pay the price, though. There's no free lunch here for anybody, including my children. There's no free lunch. There's no way to know what this room feels like, the expansiveness of this room, by looking at it on the internet. The moment you can get in it, it'll become even more real to you. The fourth thing is you got to put your feet in this deal. You got to put your feet in this deal. There's a horse down there. You can visualize a horse. You can see the horse. You got to touch the horse. And the fourth thing, you got to touch the horse. And the fourth thing is you guys got to collaborate with other people, man. You got to get in the room with other people, whether you're serving water. If they don't invite you to sit down, then offer them money to sit down with them. If that doesn't work, offer to serve them to sit down. Okay, this is a story of my life could be wrapped up in these four things right here. Number one, see it in my mind. Number two, see it in the physical universe, like see it in some, not physical, but in metaverse, on the internet, in a magazine, a picture of it. Third, get closer to it. Put your feet on it, on the plane, on the horse, on the beach, in the hotel. If I got to go work there to do it. And the fourth thing is you got to network with people that have stuff. Okay. Again, I spent some time this week with Dame Dash. She's like, look, you got to get close to the action. You got to get with the people that are making the moves. You cannot make the moves from your own neighborhood. Percy Miller told me you cannot make the moves from the projects. You got to move from the projects, not make the moves in the project. Quit working street corners. Quit selling just a product and start hanging out with people that have scaled their ideas into a reality.
How many in your room are broke right now? You're broke. You're like just dead broke. Like if I went and banged on your credit card, it would scream and call the police. No, alert 911, call them out right now. This cannot be used again. That's fine, dude, that's fine. You still need to have your dreams. You need to start dreaming now. How old are you, dude? 22 years old. You got any money at all? But he's got a little diamond in his ear, right here. He ain't got any money, but he's like, look at this shit. I'm shining. Huh? I'm shining. Come here, man. Yeah, come here, man. Come here. I'm shining. I got a little cubic. Come on up here, man. 22 years old, man. 22 years old. You know what I was doing every day? 22 years old. What do you weigh, man? How much you weigh? Oh, you got one in both ears. Look at this. Get a close up. Can you get a close up? Look at that, man. Oh, he's so cool. Look, he looks good too, man. Looks good. Okay, look, how much money do you have to your name?
Probably like $1,000 at the
$1,000 bucks. What? No,
I feel like $1 million though.
Yeah. Either way, bro, you're broke. You agree with that?
Oh yeah.
You're broke. You guys need to admit it. You need to know when you're broke. The man's got $1,000. Right? He goes to jail today. He's broke. So like, but that does not mean you can't dream. So right now, what he's going to do is his dreams are going to be like, okay, man, like I just want to get a $2,000, or I just want to get some of these, or I want to get a watch. Dude, that's not the dream, folks. You know, when you were a kid, 12 years old, what do you want? You want a car. I can't wait till I get a car. You don't think about, I'm going to own a car dealership. You think, I want a car. You don't think, hey man, I'm going to make a new car that flies. Right? See, that's why he ended up with these little cubics. Because his dreams aren't big enough. Get off the stage. Okay, but he's in the right place. He's in the right place. Everybody agree? Nobody ever got rich buying homes, ever in the history of the world, number one. Number two, never in the history of the world has there been wealth created because you saved money, okay?
People should be investing money first in themselves to get great at something. I don't care what it is, waiting tables, bussing tables. Like, you got to get great at something first. You don't need to become an investor first, except in yourself. I was 25 years old, got out of a treatment center for drug addiction. I was $40,000 worth of debt. Like, nobody trusted me. Nobody believed in me. I didn't believe in me. I had no self-esteem. I was wrecked. Nobody to look to. And I'm like, I got one thing in front of me, my job. It was a layup, right? In basketball, it was the easiest shot I could take. I need to get good at this job. And I hated the job I had, by the way. It's not like I loved it or had a passion for it. I'm like, I need to just put my head down, focus on this one thing, and learn how to increase my income and get control of that. So I invested in me, and I started getting better at my job. That's all I did. When I got a little bit of confidence that was starting to move forward, and I had a little extra money, $3,000, $4,000, I started figuring out, okay, what can I do with this money so this money could start working? And that has been, I don't code anything. I don't know anything about technology. Like, I've started a bunch of businesses with no money, no debt, written 8 books now, because what I'm sharing with people is what worked for me. And I'm just telling people, like, this worked for me. This took me from nothing to having a number of businesses that are very, very successful with no debt. We borrowed no money to start the first companies, a lot of hard work. And then when I got any extra dough, what I did was I took it and put it in one place where I knew I would not lose it. And for me, that's not the stock market. It's definitely not the crypto market. It's not bonds. It's not paper. Like, I don't want to trade a piece of paper that everybody knows is garbage. I think everybody knows that. You know, this piece of paper is full of lies. It's got lies all over it. You know, it's got a guy I don't know. I thought he was a president. He's not. It's got the White House on the back. It's got "In God We Trust." I mean, this is fabricated. This is worth no more than this piece of paper right here. Like, why would I trade one piece of paper for another bullshit piece of garbage paper that Wall Street certifies just because they put their little stamp on it, call themselves BlackRock or Blackstone or Goldman, you know, or JP Morgan? These people are making trillions and trillions of dollars. We need to think more like those guys than like your uncle who's saving money in the backyard.
You got to be in the market. You got to be looking at deals. You got to have confidence. You got to get debt. You got to have cash, okay? Do not use the last two as an excuse not to do a deal. Shame on you. If you leave here and you keep blaming, I don't have the money and I don't have the bank. You don't need the money and you don't need the bank. You need the damn deal. To me, the interest-only loan is a really great loan to get because you have a stable, one of your greatest expenses is now stabilized completely, meaning the debt will not go up. So if my debt payments are $400,000 a year, they're never gonna change. My taxes will keep changing, my expenses will keep changing, employee payroll will keep changing. I need to secure and stabilize as much as I can. So interest only is not really about the asset class as much as it is about the amount of leverage you use. Anyone can get, as long as you're working with the right lender and the size of the deal is right, almost anyone can get an interest-only loan. So if you get down to 50%, you're probably good. You just got to ask your bank, like the lady yesterday said, oh, we don't do interest-only. Guarantee you they do interest-only. And you shouldn't be scared of interest-only. Because what is principal and interest anyway? Principal pay down is like a 2%, a point and a half pay down over 10 years. Over 10 years, you're gonna pay down your debt, maybe 15%. So rather than me putting 65% down, I pay 50% down right now, and it's interest only the whole time. All I'm doing is prepaying my pay down. To get the deal, you need a commitment. You got to have a commitment when you leave here. You got to be like, okay, man, I'm going to take my money. How many of you got cash in the bank right now? You have cash in the bank because you don't have confidence in these deals. I don't have cash in the bank because I trust my real estate more than I do my cash. How many of you got a 401k? Good. That's because you do not understand the value of real estate. Because if you understood the value of real estate the way I do, you would not have a 401k that you can't access for 30 years. How many of you got equity in your home? Excellent. And that just shows me that you do not have complete confidence in the game that I'm telling you right now, because if you had complete confidence in what I'm doing, you would not have equity in your home. You probably wouldn't even have a damn home. You'd have your money sitting in 161 units somewhere, paying you a check every month to make your house payment that you owe money on. So I want to give you a list of things to drop your drama.
No drama!
Reduce your risk. How many of you'd like to never lose money on a deal? Check off most of this list and you won't lose money on a deal. Number one, is the location good? The better the location gets, the better off you are. I should have asked Robert that. Would you rather pay a higher price for a better location or a lower price for a worse location? I think I know what he would tell me. Is it affordable? Affordable to who? To the tenant, not to you. You're not buying a box of groceries here. Is it affordable to the tenant based on what else I can buy in that area? Okay, New York City rents should be higher than Miami rents. Okay, if I'm at Fifth Avenue, right, and every condo is $12 million, and I can rent there for $5,500 a month for a little tiny apartment, or if I go to Silicon Valley and people are being paid $250,000 to work at Facebook as an intern, I can pay $9,000 a month in rent. And those rents, by the way, you have 1970 built product. It was built in 1970. Elena, were you born in 1970? She wasn't even born yet. And there's apartments that were built in 1970, 52 years old, that rent for $9,000 a month. One bedroom, 800 square feet, old ass kitchen, bad floors, bad cabinets, leaky faucets that rent for $9,000 a month. And somebody bought those years ago. I guarantee you they probably only paid $9,000 for the unit. And every month they collect another $9,000 if they've been there long enough. Okay, so it could be affordable, right? Even though it's $9,000. You take the rents in Miami at $1,500, $2,800, anywhere in between $1,500 and $2,800. You take that same asset, you take that and transport it to New York City. Those rents are $25,000 a month. Take the same property, push it to Singapore. Singapore rents are 80% higher than the United States of America. And you guys complain about the rents. You guys complain about the rents because the locals never change the market. You want to write this down. The locals never change the market, the outsiders do.
I think I'm in the game, okay? I'm in the game. I think when I'm in my game completely and like on purpose and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm most alive. And I'm youngest at those moments. I know people that knew me 20 years ago and they're like, dude, you're actually look younger and act younger than you were 20 years ago.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm in the game. I'm in the game of change and expansion. And expansion means life, really. It means to live. If you look up the word live or life as a physics term, it means to expand. If you look up expand, it means to grow and change. And when I'm in that part of the cycle, then I'm rejuvenating something. And I know, if you know older guys are like, oh, I'm not going to check into that. I don't need to do that. And they're on the end of their cycle and they start showing it in their face and their life and their kids. And so I'm still in the create.
So how do you go about not subscribing to that mindset? I'm getting older, I'm getting tired, my back hurts, all that. How do you not subscribe to that?
Yeah, I just want to be in the game. I mean, I've participated in the downward cycle and I know how it made me feel and I just want to avoid those feelings. So I like feeling good. I like feeling youthful. I like the excitement. I like the fear,
That fear is a priceless fear.
I like the edge. I like finding people saying, man, the way you opened this video was wrong. See, I like that. Like, I need to find that edge to experience life.
I'm 63 years old, I'll be 64 in March. And, I feel like I'm like 14 years old, man. I'm like, let's roll. Like, let's go. I'm ready to run through walls and, fly and learn new stuff. I'm studying cryptos right now in the metaverse and like what happens and when do I make a play and do I make a play and what is all this? So number one, you have to stay curious. Number one, curious. You have to be curious. When Clubhouse came around, Clubhouse is an audio app if you don't know what that is. A couple of years ago, most of the people in my office, including Jared, was like, man, ain't nothing, there's nothing there. I'm like, oh, there's people there though. There's people there. And what I discovered because I was curious about Clubhouse is not because I was curious about social media. I was curious about people. To me, I get energy from people. And so I've been in rooms where Alan, have y'all met Alan yet? So Alan saw me go in a room one night and he texted me. He's like, what the hell you doing in this room, man? And I said, well, what's up? He's like, get out of this room. And I said, what you worried about? He's like, you're the only white person in the room and the title is White Entitlement. And he sends me a little sweaty emoji. I said, bro, how am I gonna learn about white entitlement with white people? Like, you gotta be curious, folks. Just because it has nothing to do with you doesn't mean your market's not there. And for me to be able to market to a market means I need to understand how that market thinks. So one of the great benefits of me being curious, particularly about two-way communication on social media, the feedback. I'm not looking for likes and comments. I'm looking for something, some electricity in the moment. What you're talking about, the drive, potential, an idea. Like all my ideas come from, I don't fabricate ideas. Everything you see me do happened. It was happening already in the universe. I don't create anything. I just grab something that's already there. And I grab it out of something I hear. So the Supreme Court today announced they kicked out the mandate for the vaccine. I'm like, hey man, okay, good. You like it or don't like it. Y'all need to get on one side of that story and start talking to people about it so you gain that audience. You need, I don't want to be political. See, that's stupid, man. You know, there's nothing that raises more money than politics. Nothing. There's nothing. And most of it's just a scam. And everybody knows it. They're like, I'm throwing in. They ain't throwing in for their side. They're throwing in to keep the other side that they're worried about. The point of the story is there's energy there. There's tremendous amounts of energy that you want to tap into. If you could walk the line and play both of them, that'd be super cool. Very difficult to do that, though. So when that came out today, I'm like, good job, man. Like, I got to take a stand on that. Now, will I lose some people? 100%. I don't care who I lose. There's 8 billion people on this planet. I'm worried about who doesn't know me. So the way to protect your brand is to expand it. That's the only way to protect your brand.
You know, I hear people all the time complain about their job. They don't want to have a job. I'm like, man, you have to love your job. If you don't love your job, how are you going to go start a business and have people that work for you that don't hate their job? It's a gift to be able to have a job. Like, if you can smile, I really believe this. If I can smile throughout my life, even when I'm eating, like, yeah, okay, what else you got? I was telling Elena, she was down there boxing this morning and with Javier, and man, her kicks are getting awesome. And she had this look on her face. I said, look, you got to smile when you do that kick. You got to smile when you punch. You got to smile when you get punched. Because when you can smile when you're eating shit and taking a punch, when things are not going well, when you're terrified and you can keep smiling through it, I think Churchill said, when you're going through hell, skip, move, run, and have a smile on your face. Like, it doesn't bother you. And you become dangerous to other people when you can eat shit. You're humble enough to say, yeah, okay, I'll do the dishes. Okay, I'll sweep the floors.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
For 10 more amazing rules from Robert Kiyosaki, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
But I give a lot, you know what I mean? It goes to biblical principle, the more you give, the more you receive. So when I meet somebody who's doesn't have any money, it just means they're not giving something.